Right. So hope everyone is able to view my screen. We have started the recording. So how we'll go with yeah. So how we'll go with today's classes? I'll take a topic or two topics for 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll open up for questions. So you can ask your questions. Even through chat also is fine. Anyway, you can post your questions. So once that is over, then we'll go with the next topic. Okay. So this way it would be easier for both of us. So yeah, now coming, we'll start with the session. Uh, so in Unix environment, if you see, you have many types of Unix OS available. Okay, so first thing we are going to see in today's class is Linux uh, OS. In Linux itself, you have so many Linux, Red Hat, Novel Linux, Amazon Linux, and all. So I have taken a Linux machine from AWS console. Okay, I have taken an Amazon Linux machine, right? So Linux is what most frequently used in companies. Earlier we had AIX machines, Solaris machines, all those things, but now Linux is what most frequently used. Okay, so commands almost will be the same in all the Unix OS operating systems. A little bit differences will be there, right? But mostly it will be the same. So I have taken an Amazon Linux machine from AWS console, and I have logged in with the user ID. Okay, so this is user ID I have logged in with. Now, so here if you see, here it tells my ID. Okay, first I'm making you understand the user IDs, the accounts here. Yes, is any doubts? Okay, so first we'll deal with the user IDs. Okay, so how do we log in, how do we switch user as the admin ID? So all those things we'll deal, and then we'll start with the servers, right? How to handle them. So first is I have logged in with easy to user ID. So this is user ID I have logged in with. That is what it tells here. Okay. So now in general, everyone would have worked on Windows and OS, right? So there, if you're trying to install some application, so what it would ask you for, a pop-up would come asking for admin credentials, right? So you have to give your Windows admin credentials. Mostly the user ID will be admin, right? Almost most of the time it will be admin only, and the password differs. So here, same way for Windows, you have the admin ID as admin. Here you have the admin ID as root. Okay, so root is the Unix admin ID. Generally, the Unix team people will be having access to this root ID. So this is the admin ID of Linux OS, Linux machines. Okay, by default, this will be the ID. So now with the root ID, so now I have logged in with easy to user ID, with which I will have lesser privileges, right? Only little things I can access for which I have permissions. But if I log in as a root user, which is the admin user of this ID, I can have access to all the admin file systems about the boots, all those things. All the admin file systems will be there, right? Which is having all the user IDs, details, password details, group details, all those things I'll be having access to. Okay. So what I'm doing is I have logged in as easy to user ID. Now I will switch user as root user. Okay. So switch user su hyphen root. So this means I have logged in as easy to user, but switching user as the root user. So now I will become the root user. And since root is a admin ID, I must have privileged access to execute this, right? I'm not sudoing as some switching user as some other ID. I'm switching user as the root ID of Linux. So I must have privileged access. In order to get that, I'm giving this sudo command. Sudo will give you privileged access to execute this command. Okay, so now I'm giving enter. See, now I have become root user. Okay, so I logged in as easy to user and switched user to root ID. Okay, so how to know in which ID I am there? If you give ID, it will tell your ID details. So your user ID, your group ID, and what and all groups you're part of. Okay, generally all the IDs here will be part of certain groups. Okay, they will have their own group ID and they'll be part of certain groups. Okay, and each user, each group will have their unique IDs. Okay, in Linux everything is with IDs, so each user will have a unique user ID, each group will have a unique group ID. Similar way, there are many processes running in this machine, so each process will have a unique process ID. Okay, so everything is the unique IDs here. Now for root, this is the user ID and all. Now other command what you can use is who am I. So it will tell you which ID you are logged in with. Okay. So I have logged in with easy to user. So now to come out of this root user and be back to my easy to user ID, what I can do, I can either give logout or I can give exit or just give control D. Okay, control D. If I give control D, it will automatically type logout and come out. So now I came out of my easy to root ID and I'm back to my easy to user ID. Now again, if I give logout, what will happen? The session will close. Okay, because this is the ID initially I logged in with. So now give who am I? I'm the easy to user ID, or I can give ID also. Okay, so this is the user ID for easy to user, and this is the group ID of it, and this user is part of these many groups. Okay, now coming to how to create this ID, how to change the groups, so all those things only will come under admin part. Okay, that we are not going to deal with in today's class, but maybe if somebody is interested, at the end of the session I can tell you how to do those commands. I can explain you now. So again I will come back to root user, right? And clear means it will just clear the screen, nothing to deal with it. It will just clear the screen. Okay. Other command is date. Date means it will tell you the date and time as per the server. Okay, as per this mission. And then history. I'm just telling you all other extra commands. History will tell you the list of commands that you have executed with this ID. As a root ID, what and all commands are executed, those things it will tell you. Okay. Now, if I want to know the commands executed with easy to user ID, so come out of it. Now I must easy to user ID. Now give history. It will tell you those commands that you executed with this ID. Okay. Everything is with ID only. Now I'm coming back to root. So clear so far. We just dealt with IDs only and few commands. Any doubts with the ID part?
Yeah, Suchitra, I have a doubt here.
Yes.
So can anyone be a root user?
No, you cannot be. Generally, in real time, if you see, only the Unix team people will be having access to switch user as root ID. So here why I'm able to do is I have actually authenticated myself using a private key. So that's why I'm able to sudo as root user. In general, we will not be given access to switch user as root user. Only the Unix team will have, and we will be having access to the application IDs. So if I'm part of application one, we'll have a separate application ID and an application group. So all the members part of this team, right, will be having access to that particular ID. So you log in with your ID and switch user to that particular ID. Instead of root, you'll be giving that application ID, that
Okay.
common one. So that is how it goes in real time.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Suchitra, actually, I have a doubt. So, both the root and EC2 users comes under the category of group, right?
They are the users and they are also under groups as well.
Okay.
If you see, it has a group ID also with the same name and there is an user ID as well.
Okay, understood.
So now we'll come with the main topics, how to create directories, folders, and how to edit files, how to change permissions and all. Okay. So first coming to directories part, directories as in folders. So in Windows, how do you do? How to open a folder? Double click, automatically it will open the folder and it will list the contents inside the folder, right? But here that is not the case. So you have to give the command to go inside the folder. So cd and the directory name. Okay. So now I'm giving cd. I'm going to root directory. Okay. I have a directory folder named root. I'm going inside that. And one more thing, root is the parent folder. Okay. The main parent folder. One second. Yeah, sorry. So root is the parent folder. So it will generally start with backslash. Okay. This simple backslash or with root means the parent folder root only. So now I came inside this root folder. Okay. So this is how I come inside a directory. And to know in which path I am there, I can give pwd. It will print the current working directory. Print the current working directory in which path you are. Now, if I want to list and see, ls is the command to list and see, and it goes with other options which I'll be explaining later. Okay, so this ls command I'll explain in later part of the session. So ls is to list. So generally for a directory in Windows, it is very simple. If you can just double click, it will go inside the directory and it will automatically list. Also, you can see in which path you are there also, right? On that bar. But here that is not the case. So to know the path, you have to give pwd, and to list, you have to give ls to list. Okay. Now I have come inside this directory. Now it is empty. Nothing is there. So now I'll create a directory here. Okay. I'll create a folder inside this root folder. mkdir space directory name. Okay. I'll give a directory name called Unix 1. Okay. So now list and see, a directory is created. Okay. So all these things I'll explain later. This D means it is a directory. You can understand that. Okay. The first D is the directory and the next 9 things are the permissions. So now I have created a directory. I'll create one more directory, Unix 2. Okay, so I've created 2 folders. Now I'll go inside this folder, Unix 2. Okay, give pwd, you can know in which path you are there, right? So now again it will be empty only because I have not created anything. Here I'll create one file. Okay, I'm creating a file. I'm creating 2 files. Also, I'll create one folder. Inside this folder, maybe subdir1. I'll name like this. Okay, so inside this Unix 2 directory, I've created 2 files and one directory, one more directory here. Okay, so now I'll come out of this folder. Now, if I want to go, I can give this cd, right? Cd root. If I can give the entire path, this way I can go. Now to come one step back, right? I'm under Unix 2. Now I want to come one step back. I want to go to the previous thing. So there I give cd dot dot. It will go take me one step back. If I want to go 2 steps back, I can give slash dot dot. 2 steps back it will take me. Okay, now we can see I came one step back to root. So now list and see. So basically what I have done here, I have created 2 directories. So this directory is empty. If you list and see, this is empty, and Unix 2 is having 2 files and one more folder. Okay, so one empty directory, one non-empty directory. So this is what I have created now. Now we will delete the directories. Rmdir, I'm deleting an empty directory. It is done. Okay, rmdir space directory name. Now we'll use the same command to delete this directory which is not empty. Right, this is not empty directory. I'll try to remove this. It is throwing an error. It failed to remove because the directory is not empty. So to remove a directory that is not empty, there is a different command which I'll tell later. Okay, after dealing with the files part, I will tell you. There is one command which I'll tell later. Okay, so this one I'll tell later. Now, so this is with directories, how to go inside a directory, how to check the current path, how to create, how to remove directory that is empty, right? So next we'll go with files. So before going with files, any doubts? How to copy, all those things I'll cover later. Okay. Any doubts with these 4 commands?
So touch is just for
Yeah. So
creating a
next,
file, right?
yeah, file. So when I come to files part, I'll tell you what are the types of creating files. So touch will come under that. Okay. So next coming to files, we'll see how to create files. Okay. Files can be created in 3 different ways, or I can say edited. Files can be edited in 3 different ways. So the first method, okay, is vi space file name. Okay. I give a file name called sample, vi space file name. So basically you can open an existing file also with vi. Okay. Like actually open for editing. So now I am inside the sample file. If you can say I'm inside the sample file. Now if I want, I can edit it. Okay, I'm just typing. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm just typing uh, with more than a page. Okay, I'm just typing something. Now I'll mark the last line as the end of the file. So this is the last line that I'm typing. Okay, now I'll save and come out. I'll tell you how to edit a file in VI later. Okay. So just for now, just understand VI is one method to create or edit a file. Okay, VI space file name. Where the file will open, you can edit, save and come out. Now the next method is touch. Touch space file name. Okay, test file is the name I'm giving. Touch space file name. So this will create an empty file. Okay, now it got created, right? So touch space file name. It will create an empty file. So it won't open the file. It will just create one file. That's it. See, it just created a file. So this is the difference between VI and touch. Touch means it will just create a file. Now open this test file in VI where you can edit it. Okay, like this you can edit it with VI again. So this is with touch. VI touch is over. The third one is cat with greater than symbol and the file name. So now what this will do is with this symbol, this appending symbol, it will add contents to the end of the file. Now this file one, it is a new file, right? So now it will just add the contents. Now, for example, the same with this same command, I'm opening an existing file. It will add contents to the bottom of the file. So this thing will be used only to append the file. Okay, to add contents to the end of the file, you can use this command. So this in real time mostly will not be using. Just to let you know that you have this command as well. That's it. But in real time, we'll not be using this command. Mostly we'll go with VI itself. Okay. So these are the 3 different ways to create files. So first method is VI space file name, where the file will open. You can edit, save and come out. Next is touch space file name. It will create an empty file. Next one is cat, this and the file name. So this will only actually append the file. Okay. Now 3 methods are over. Now that you have created files, I want to open the file and see what is inside that, right? Yeah. What is the command for saving file? I'll tell all those things. Okay, and then the next part will be VI editor, where I'll be covering how to edit a file, save, all those things I'll tell you. Okay, what is the difference between VI and touch? That's what touch is. Touch, it will basically create an empty file. It won't do anything. It will just create a file name alone. But if you want to edit the file, no, you have to go with VI and edit it. Touch, in most of the cases where it will be useful is when you are, when you're testing whether in this you can create a file or not. So you can just give touch space file name and see if it is file is created or not. Or in certain cases when you write scripts, right? So you want the output to go to certain file. So what you'll do, you'll just touch the file, touch output.txt. So a file will be created named output.txt. So there all the output will get stored. So in those cases you can use touch. You'll just create an empty file. And what is the format of the file? A normal text file only. Since I am not given any extensions, it is a normal text file. Uh, the normal method only here, you can either give with .txt, or if you don't give also, it means the same. Okay, the Excel things will be done with .csv format, just like that it will go. Okay, the formats. So now we have created files. We'll go. We'll see how to open the files and see the contents. Okay, the first method is cat space file name. Okay, now I'm not using this greater than symbol, just cat space file name. I can see what is inside the file, right? Now we'll use the same command for a bigger file. Okay, the sample file is a bigger file, right? If you remember, I typed more contents there with more than a page. So for this, if you see, it is displaying everything, right? This is what I gave inside sample file. All these things it is displaying. So this cat method, one thing we understood here, cat method is not preferable for a larger file. As in, if you want to view log files and all, cat is not preferable, right? There'll be thousands of lines in those in that file. So how do you use cat to display everything? And if you want to do a search and all, everything will be difficult there, right? So for those things, cat is not preferred. So the preferable method is less space file name. Okay, I personally use less more often, less space file name. So now the file is open. If you see, the file is open. I'm inside the file, right? Cat means it will just display and come out. But in less, I'm inside the file. Only the first page is displayed. So I press down arrow, I scroll down, up arrow, I scroll up. So in this way, you can navigate between the file to each page. Okay. So now I will tell you few operations with this list that you can do. The first thing is Shift G. It will take you to end of the file. So Shift G, I press. It is taking me to the last line of the file. You remember this was the last line we typed, right? So it took me to the end of the file. And now to do a search from bottom to top. Okay, here I'll explain a search method which will do a search from bottom to top. And in VI, which I'm going to take next, I'll explain a search method which will do a search from top to bottom. Okay. So question mark, all the commands will be at the bottom of the uh, screen. Okay. Question mark and the search string. So I will search for the word QWERTY. Okay. Question mark and the word that you want to search. So give enter. So this is doing a search from bottom to top, right? So that is why I came to the end of the file and I'm doing a search. So this is there. To go to the previous occurrence, I give n. I just type n. In Windows, how do you have? You'll have this find next, find previous buttons, right? Similar way here we type n, small n. Just type n. It is taking me to the previous occurrence. Again, I type n, the previous occurrence. So I'm just typing n. It is taking me to all previous occurrences. Okay. So if I give capital N, it will take me to the next occurrence. I'm typing capital N, it is taking me to the next occurrence. Okay, small n, it will take me to previous occurrence, capital N, next occurrence. So in this way, I can do a search. And to come out of this file, so now if you see, I cannot execute other commands, right? Because I'm inside this file. So to come out of this, I just type Q. I have come out of this file. See now, the screen is also very neat here. It is not like cat. It is very neat. Also, it allows you to do a search as well. So that is one good thing with less. So if you see, both cat less are read only. You cannot edit there. Only with vi you can edit the files. With cat and less command you cannot edit the files. Okay. And the third thing is more. Again, I'm just explaining this command just for mentioning it, but mostly will not use more. Okay, just to let you know that we have one such command, but will not be using it. Okay, more space file name. I just give enter. So as again you can see, first 65% of the file content is displayed. Right now I press enter. Bottom you can see, right? Now little more it is displaying. Again I press enter. Little more it is displaying. So once it displays all the 100% of the file, it will come out. Little more and more, it will display. It will come out of the file. So that's it. Other operations we cannot do with more. So that is why I say it is not much preferred. Okay. Cat you can use for viewing configuration files if they are of no single page. That time you can use cat. And for more file, more lines or more pages in a file, you can use less. Okay. And the fourth type to view a file is tail. Tail is again one of the most importantly used commands or frequently used commands. Okay. Tail space file name. Okay. The name itself says, right, tail means at the end. Okay. So by default, the last 10 lines of the file will be displayed. Okay. Now if I want last 20 lines of the file, I give -20. Last 20 lines will be displayed. So what tail is doing, it is just displaying the last n number of lines and then coming out, right? But in what cases tail will be most helpful is when you use this F option. I'm using this F option, which means it will display the last 20 lines as well. I'm still inside this file, right? So if this file is getting updated somewhere, I can see the contents here. Okay. Generally, you open a file, and if this file is getting updated at the same time somewhere, and if you want to see the updated content, what you have to do? In general terms, you have to either refresh it or close the file and open it again, right? So then only you can see the updated contents, right? A general concept. But when we use this tail along with this F option, that is not required. So I'm still inside the file only. So if this file is getting updated, for example, Adi, I could see if he is updating the file here and saving it, so I'll be seeing the contents here. Okay, all the updated contents I can see without closing and opening again or refreshing the file. Okay, so this is with F option of tail. So in what cases all these commands will be useful, so that also I will tell you. Okay, cat, as I said, for files with single page or one and a half pages, you can take cat. Mostly for config files which are of less size, you can take cat. Okay, less and tail are most frequently used. Okay, uh, with less you can do a search option as well. So for that you can use less. For example, if you are opening if there is an issue stating you have a deadlock in your process or something. Okay, so what you'll do, you'll open the log file and search for the keyword deadlock, right? And which one you'll search? You always want the recent deadlock, is it right? So the recent deadlock will be at the end of the file. Latest logs will be updated at the end of the file only, right? It won't be at the starting. So you can go to the end of the file and then do a search with deadlock. You'll get the latest, the recent deadlock error, which time. So for that you can use less. And tail, where we can use tail mostly with F option only, we'll be using tail. Okay, this is what many people prefer. Tail, where it can be used is the same way for logs, to view the logs. So the process will be started, either a batch process is started or something, you want to see the logs here. Okay, so the process, when a process is getting started, it will load many modules, right? One by one it will be loading. So if you want to see whether each one is going perfectly or is there any error, so you want to see the live logs instead of waiting till the process gets completed and then viewing the log. While it's getting updated itself, you want to see the logs. So that time what you'll do, you'll just open the log file with F mode, with F option in tail. So whatever is getting updated while starting the process, everything I can see one by one here. Okay, so for that only mainly they'll be using tail option. Okay, So 4 things. The first thing is cat space file name. Next is less space file name. With less, we saw shift to G, it will take to end of the file. And to do a search, question mark and the search string you can give, and Q to quit, to come out of the file basically. Next thing is more space file name. Next is tail space file name. So by default, last 10 lines will be displayed. Here I can give -20 or -30. Last 20 or 30 lines will be displayed. And here, suppose if I'm giving the F option, the file updated contents also I can view without closing and opening the file again. Okay. So clear with these 7 commands. Any doubts with these commands?
Can you explain more again?
Okay. So more space file name. So you can see at the bottom, basically first 65% of the file is displayed. I'm still inside the file. Okay. First this much is displayed. So if I press enter, some more content will be displayed. 71% it is showing. So if I press enter, one by one it will start showing. You can see one by one it is showing some extra contents, more and more contents it will show. So once it displays all the contents, if you can see I'm just pressing enter. So if I press enter, one by one it is showing for me now. So once it displays all the 100% of the file, everything it is displayed, it will come out. Here how you can use in case you want to know, see line by line. If you're searching for something, if you want to see line by line, you can open with more, and with one by one, and it is slowly it is showing, right? So you can see whether it is there or not. So for that you can use more maybe, but in real time mostly they'll not use more.
Okay, thank you. I got-
Any other doubts?
Can you repeat a
Suppose
less again?
Okay. So less space file name, mostly for log files we can see. So log files means always you will be worried about the end of the file only, right? Because the latest contents you want. So I give shift to G, it will take me to the end of the file. See, now I came to the end of the file. Now basically one command only I said you to do a search, question mark and the search string. I search for the word YT. Okay, I see YT, so I'm giving YT. Press enter. Here it is there. So to go to the previous occurrence of that YT, I give N. That's it. Only in 2 places YT is there. It will tell you. Mostly to find out errors or something, you can use this less and with the search string. So you can just open the log file and just put question mark error. Means wherever error is there, it will highlight for you. So directly you can go and analyze there. There you can use less. And Q to come out.
so
So
other
in
than
search
VI
string, if you see,
editor, everything else is for read only, right?
yes.
Suppose if I'm inside the VI editor and doing a troubleshooting, and if I wanted to come out without saving, how do I do it?
Yeah, I'll explain that. Okay. So next we'll go with copy, move, deleting a file, and then we'll go with the VI editor part. Okay. So first we'll see how to delete the file. We saw how to delete a directory. We'll see how to delete a file. RM space file name. It is just asking for confirmation. I give S. It removed. See, file 1 is deleted. Now, if I don't want this confirmation to be asked, which means I'm forcefully removing it. So I give this F option. So in Unix, it always goes like this. You'll have the command, and each command will have some options along with it. Okay. Similar way, ls is a command and hyphen L is one option present along with ls. Similarly, you'll have so many options for each command. Okay. So for this rm, f is one option. We saw in tail, right? You have f option for that purpose. Similar way, rm hyphen f, this is to forcefully perform the operation. So it won't ask for this confirmation. That is the only difference with using f and not using f. Okay, forcefully remove it. Now, now we'll come back to the point where we left, removing a directory that is not empty. Okay, so I'll use the same command. Now I'm using this option called R. This R is very, very important for a directory that is not empty. Not only for removing, for copying, or for changing permissions, ownerships, everywhere this R is very important for a directory. This R stands for recursive operation. Okay, so when for a directory, if you want to perform something, you must always make sure you perform it recursively, right? Because you're not only removing the main directory, you're removing everything inside this. So you have to perform this recursively. So that is why I mentioned this R. F is optional. If you want, you can use F, else it will ask for each and every file, it will ask this confirmation. You have to give IY. That's it. F is optional. F is only for forcefully removing. This R is what meant for removing a directory that is not empty. rm-r space directory name. Okay. I give, it is removed now. Okay. So now rm-r space directory name. Okay. Here rm space file name or rm-f space file name. Okay. Now coming to copy. Copy a file. Source space destination. Okay. So sample file will be copied to XYZ file. I mean, I'm not giving any path here. So in the same path, it will get copied. For example, if I want to copy to some other path, I can give that path here. For example, if there is any path, if I have created there, so there it will get copied. You can also mention the path, full path of the file or just the file if it is in the same location. Copy sample to XYZ. So in copy, source will be retained, right? It's like copy paste. So source will be retained. Now cut paste, or I could say rename. Okay. Move command. Move command is used for cut paste or for renaming a file. So move sample to, I will give this name. Okay. So sample has been renamed to ABC or moved to ABC. Okay. Source will not be there. So copy means source will be retained. Move means source will be not retained. Source will not be there. This is the difference between copy and move. Okay. So here I can mention the paths also. For example, I want to copy from root on Unix one. For example, imagine if there is such thing. So here I have a file one. So this file I want to copy to this path. Now in which path I am there? I am under root path. Okay. So here in this path, if I want to get copied, I can give dot. So this is basically the syntax, right? Copy space source. This is the source. In this path, this file, this is the source, space destination. Destination is dot here. Dot means the current path. Okay, so that file one will get copied here. Okay, so dot means it is the current path, either in copy or move. Dot means the current path. There it will get copied. So that file one from that location will get copied here. Okay, so this is the difference between copy and move. And now coming to copy with in terms of directories. Copy directory 1, directory 2. This will do only if it is empty. If it is not empty, you have to give hyphen R. Recursively copy. So everything as in inside the directory 1, you are copying. So for this, you have to use -r. For move, it is not required. Move directory 1, directory 2 is enough, because it is like more or less like renaming, right? So here you need not give -r. Everything it will get moved or renamed. Okay. So this is with copy and move option. So copy source file, destination file, move. So with directories, this is how it will be. You have to use this. So this will be the syntax. 3 inputs you have to give them. So here either you can mention the directory name if it is in that path, or the file name if it is in that path. Else you can mention the full path along with the file or folder name. Okay. And destination. Dot means that current path. You need not mention the full path there. You can just mention dot. In that path, it will get copied or moved. Okay. So any doubt so far? Next, we are going to see VI editor, how to create the editor file, how to save, how to not save. All those things we'll be seeing now. Any doubts?
Yeah, I have a doubt here.
Yes.
So in case if we delete a file unknowingly, is there any way to replace it or restore it?
No. In Unix, that is the main thing here. You don't have anything like recycle bin in Windows. So here, if you delete a file, it's gone. So they have backup systems there. So you have to go to the backups and then try to retrieve the files if you have backups there. So in Unix, that is the problem. If you delete a file, it's gone.
Okay.
So that's why mostly they'll have a backup process running. From there, we'll retrieve it. And mostly will not have it for lesser environments. Mostly for no UAT, pre-prod and prod. For those higher environments, we'll be having backup process. For lower environments, mostly we don't have backup process in real time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
always in Unix, this issue will come. So just they'll give rm-rf and they'll give star. So that mainly will happen. Just to say, if I give the file name, it will get deleted, right? If I give a directory name, it will get deleted. So now what I'll just give star. R means recursively, right? So star means asterisk means wildcard. Everything in that path will get deleted for me. So this mistake majorly I have seen many people doing it. So always be careful when you give remove command alone. Better now when you're using recursive, we have to be very, very careful. We make mistakes many times.
Yeah. Okay.
So next, coming to VI editor. Okay. So now we'll edit this file. Okay. VI space file name. The file is opened. Now the same way, Shift G will take you to end of the file. The same way what we saw in list. Now this is done. Now to go to any particular line number. Now end of the file means Shift G. If you want to go to line number 10, colon 10. So you can see all the commands at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Colon line number. It will take me to the 10th line. So to first line means colon 1. It will take me to the first line. Okay. So this where it will be useful is when you create some new instances and try to start them. Usually you'll have syntax errors, right? Syntax error on line number 35. So directly you can go to this particular line number and troubleshoot there. Okay. So this is one command. Next, a search. Okay. And one more thing before going to all the commands, I'll explain this alone. In VI, basically you have two modes, command mode and insert mode. Okay. So now we are going to see command modes only. Okay. All the commands in command mode. So what are these two modes is in general notepad, if you see here, you type something, right? Which means you're in insert mode. So even if I'm giving shift G or something, it will just type there. Now here, if you see in this bar, you have certain commands, right? Control N means for a new file. Control S to save. So all the commands are separated here in Windows, right? So here, if I go inside and type, it is like insert mode. In here, if I know using it, normal S will type yes. If I give along with control, it means a command and it will save the file, right? Same way here also, you have two modes, command mode, insert mode. So when you open the file, you will be in command mode, wherein everything you type, no, each one will be some command, right? So it will be treated as a command there. Okay. Now to come to insert mode, I have to press I. So I press I, you can say I came to insert mode. So now if I now type :1 or shift G will come. If I type :1 will come. So which means I'm in insert mode. So none of the commands will work. In insert mode, I can just type. Okay. So now in insert mode, I'm not going to teach anything because nothing is there. You come to insert mode by pressing I and then you can type. Now to switch back to command mode, I press escape. Now in escape only, I'll give the commands. Now shift G means it will take me to end of the file. :1 means it will take me to the first line of the file, like that. Okay. So now we are going to see all the commands that will be executed in command mode. So if I want to come to insert mode, I press I, insert mode, we press escape. Now it is command mode. Okay. Now two commands we saw, and then we'll go with the third command, a search, right? Earlier in less we saw a search only, right? Because it is a read only mode, so you can only find, you cannot find and replace. But here you can find as well as find and replace, because you can edit a file in VI, right? So first we'll see find command, backslash, slash, and this keyword. I want to search for QWERTY. That is this, here it is there. So find next means I just type N, it is taking you to the next occurrence. Again I type N, it's taking me to next occurrence. Again I type, that's it. So once it reaches the bottom, again it will do a search from top. And here the reverse way, if I do capital N, it will do find previous. Okay. So question mark and backslash both are same, but in vice versa. Okay. Question mark a search from bottom to top, with backslash will do a search from top to bottom. Okay. So now I have done find. The next thing is find and replace. Okay. Colon percentage yes slash find string. I want to find the keyword QWERTY slash replace string. I want to replace with ASDF. So generally, if we give find replace command, what it will do, it will replace the first occurrence, right, where it finds. That one it will replace. Now, if you want to do a replace all, so just now if you press enter, the first thing where it finds QWERTY, that alone it will replace with ASDF. Now to replace all, I can give slash G, which means globally do this operation, globally replace. Okay. Colon percentage yes slash find string slash replace string means find and replace. If you want to replace all, give slash G. G means globally. Okay. So all the QWERTY now will be replaced with ASDF. I press enter. You can see totally we know in three places we have, right? Three substitutions on three lines have been replaced. So you can see here it is replaced, here replaced, and here replaced. Wherever we had it got replaced. Okay. So this is with find and replace command. Next, how to delete lines. Okay. In general, a backspace delete will do, but you have options as well. So to delete this particular line, I can give DD. I'm just typing DD. It won't be visible. I'm just typing DD. This particular line is deleted. Now, if you want to delete set of lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines if I want to delete. Okay, this 4 lines. So what I do, I give 4, number 4, D and enter. 4 lines is deleted. So in this way, I can delete set of lines as well. Okay. Now to delete a character, I just type X. You can give delete button also, that will also delete, but there is a command as well, X. If I type X, it will delete one character. And if you want to delete 4 characters from here, first 4 characters, so I give 4X, number 4 and then X. 4 characters are deleted. So in this way, I can delete a single or set of characters. Okay. So now how to save and come out of this file. Okay. Colon Q exclamatory will quit the file. It won't save. So this is what you were asking, right? How to uh, come without saving, which means Q. Now, if I want to save, I have to give WQ. W is to save and Q is to quit. Okay. This W is only used for saving. If you don't want to save, you can just give Q exclamatory. It will quit and come out. Now I have saved and come out. Okay. So this is what most frequently we'll be using in VI. There are a lot more commands with VI editor. Once you're comfortable with these commands, you can just explore other commands. But this is what in mostly will be using or frequently will be using. Okay. The first thing is Shift G. It will take you to end of the file. Next, colon and the particular line number. It will take you to that particular nth line. Take you to nth line number. Okay, colon 10 means it will take you to the 10th line. Next, slash search string to search, and in that you have two options. N means find next, capital N means find previous. Okay, then we saw find and replace. So colon percentage S slash search string slash replace string. It will do a find and replace. This will do find and replace. This will do a replace all with slash G. Slash G means it will do a replace all. Everything it will replace. Okay. And then what we saw? DD to delete a single line. And here itself you have ND. For example, 5D means deletes 5 lines. N number of lines you can delete. The same way, X to delete a character. Same way. For example, if I'm giving 4x, it will delete 4 characters from the cursor point. Everything is from the cursor point. So if you want to delete, you have to go there and then give this command. Okay. And then to quit, this is without saving. This is to save and quit. Okay. So this is what mostly we'll be using. Any doubts? So all these will come under command mode, not in insert mode, right?
The previous line you have to mention without saving.
Yes. So if you don't want to save, you can just give colon Q. Exclamatory is optional only. So if you give colon Q, it will just come out of the file without saving. So all your changes won't be saved there. Any other doubts? So VI editor is done. So any doubts so far?
Percentage S is to replace the text, right?
Yeah. So this will be the syntax colon percent. It is like find and replace. So
Okay.
here you'll give the find word. So I want to find this word and replace with this word.
Okay. It will replace the numbers also, or only text? Anything in
Anything
the
you
file?
give there, anything you give under here slash,
Okay.
it will replace.
Okay.
For example, if that word contains this backslash or it contains spaces, you have to give it in quotes, double quotes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So next we'll go with ls to list. Okay. So to list the contents inside a folder, ls is the command. Ls is to list. So it will just display the names. For example, I'm creating a directory. It will display like this. Now, in Windows itself, you would have seen, right? You have many types of views: icon view, list view, details view, like that, right? Same way here also, if I want to see in detailed with the permissions, when date and time modified, with the name, everything, if I want to see who is the owner, who is the group, so I just give -L option. L means it will display in long listed format. This L refers to long listed format. So it is displaying the permissions, ownership, root. This you can ignore. This is the last date and time modified. Okay. This is basically a size but not an readable format. So you can ignore them. So the thing we are worried about is permissions, ownership, root, and date and time modified and name. Okay. L will display in long listed format. Then now if I want to sort, right, in Windows you have these options, right? Sort based on time, based on name and all. Okay, by default, if I give, it will sort based on name. It will sort and give you. Now, if I want in based on time, okay, I want to sort based on time in reverse order so that the latest modified will be at the bottom for me. Okay, RT stands for R is in reverse order, T is in sort based on time modified. So now we can see based on time it has been sorted. So this directory one is what late recent one we created, right? So it is at the bottom for me. Okay. So this is what LRNT stands for. L is in long listed format, R sort in reverse order, T sort based on time modified. Now coming to one more option to list the hidden files. So before going to that option, just know what is hidden files. Okay. This is a normal file, right? Just the name is there. It could be with any extension, any file format it could be. The name, it is a normal file. But if it has a dot in front of it, it means a hidden file. Okay, so I create a file touch space dot sample. So sample means it will be a normal file. If I put a dot in front of it, it is a hidden file. Now list and see, that file is not displayed because it is a hidden file. So now to list the hidden files, I use this A option. A will list the hidden files for me. So in this path itself, if you see normal listing, only this was displayed, right? But actually there were these many hidden files. So why they have made it hidden is this is required for this mission, but we did not, I don't want to list all these things for it because it is not related to mine. I don't want to see them. So they have made it hidden. But these are required in this root folder. But I don't want to see them. So they have made it hidden. All these are not required for me. So for those purposes, you will make it hidden generally. Okay. All the configuration files basically which are when you install something, there'll be by default some configuration files, right? So all those things they are required for that application to run. But every time when I list, I don't want to get confused with those files listing, right? So they will make it hidden basically. So it will not display in our normal listing, but it will be there for that process to run. Okay, so this is with hidden files. To list them, you use the A option. So ls is to list. Here we saw four options, but we have many options with ls, but this is what most frequently we'll use. L in long listed format, R sort in reverse order, T sort on time modified, A to list the hidden files. Okay, so this is with LS option. Next, we'll go with permissions and ownerships. Okay. Okay, now we'll see how to change the file permissions and ownerships. Okay, so here you can see, right, the first thing. So here you have 10 characters. The first thing will display the file format. D means a directory, else it is a normal file. We have many file formats too. So those things will be there. And the next three things display the file permissions. Okay, the 9 things, 333. So those things display the things. So before going to those things, first you have to understand who are the types of people in Unix. Okay, so the first one is owner. So each file will have a owner, right? A single owner will be there. There will be only one owner for a file. Also, there will be a group for the file. So earlier, as when I mentioned, when you're asking about sudo root, right, one person. So that time I mentioned, right, for the application team people, you will be part of the application IDs, right? So what they'll do, they'll create an application group ID as well, and our IDs all will be added to that particular group. Okay, so for that file, though there could be a single owner, but uh, if you're part of that group and if that group is having permissions to write, then all the members part of this group also will be having the permissions to write. So that is the group concept there. Okay, see, owner, group, and the remaining are others. Okay, so each one will have three permissions: read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. Okay, so each one will have three types of permissions. So that is what displayed here, right? Read, write, execute. So the first three, this is how it is, right? The first three is for owner, next three is for group, next three is for others. Okay, so for this file, the owner can read, write, and execute. The group can read and execute. Write is not there if you see. Write permissions is not there for the group. And other IDs, apart from these two, the other IDs that we log into have read access and execute access. They cannot write or edit the file. Okay. Execute means what and all operations will come. Maybe if it's a script, you can use the script to execute anything. Or you can do a copy. Copy means source will not be disturbed, right? You're just making a copy of the source. So source will not be affected. You can do a copy. But if you're doing a move means you're disturbing the source. So that comes under write operation. Okay. So there the differences between write and execute. Now, now we'll see who is the owner and group. So this is the owner. The owner of the file is root. The group of the file is root. For example, if my ID is part of this group, then I will also be able to read and execute. Group is having read and execute, right? So if my ID is part of this group, then I can also read and execute. That way it goes, right? So now, so for this, if you see, these are the permissions, right? So the owner can read and write but cannot execute. Here the group can only read and others can only read. So this is the permissions. So before going to changing permissions and ownerships, you must first understand what are the permissions and ownership for the given file or folder. Okay, so clear with this, then we'll go how to change the permissions. So now you can understand, right? If this is there, you can understand what the permissions are, right? So now, which means the owner is root. So for this file, this root ID can read and execute, and this root group can only read, and other users who are not part of this ID or group can only read this file. They cannot edit or execute this file. They can just open the file and see. That's what they can do. Okay, so this is with understanding permissions. Now we'll see how to modify them. Okay. Read 2 power 2 4, write 2 power 2 2 power 1 1 2, execute 2 power 0 1. Okay, 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2. That is how it goes, 4 2 1. These are the values for each thing. So now read is 4, write is 2, execute is 1. 4 1 4 1, which makes a total of 4 plus 2 plus 1 7, 4 plus 1 5, 4 plus 1 5. So the permissions for this is 755. Okay, it all goes with numbers only. Now for this, what would be the number? 4 2 4 4. So which means 644, right? So this means 644. Okay, full permissions means how it will be? 777, right? Read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. 7 7 7. 777 means full permissions. So now I'll give full permissions for this file, which means 777 permission. Okay, chmod, syntax chmod space permissions. So I'm going to give 777 permissions. 777 means, this is the permissions I'm giving. Which file? ABC file space file name. So this will be the syntax chmod space permissions space the file or folder for which you want to give permissions. Again, the same thing. For a directory means you have to give -r here, capital R here. For permissions and ownerships, it will be capital R. If it is a directory, so that recursively it will get applied. So I give enter. You can see permissions is changed. Now full permissions is there. Anyone can do anything on this file. Okay, so for this I'll give 755 permissions. Okay, chmod 755 xyz. 755 means we know, right? This is the permissions. You can see the permissions is changed. In this way I can modify permissions. Next, coming to changing ownerships, on space owner. Now the owner here is root. I'm changing to this ID easy to user. I'm making this ID as the owner for the file ABC. Okay, this is the syntax on space owner space the file. You can see the owner is changed. Okay, so if I want to change group, group space group name. I want to change the group name to this ID for the file XYZ. I'm changing the group. The command is group. See, group is changed. Okay, so if I want to change both owner and group at the same time, I can give like the on space owner ID colon group ID space the file name. So this way both owner and group will be changed. Okay, so this is with changing permissions and ownerships. So chmod permissions file name. If it is for a directory, chmod -r permissions directory name. If you want to make it recursively, then ownerships means on owner ID space file name, or it will be group ID file name, or you can give like this on owner ID colon group ID space file name to change both at the same time. Now, same thing for a directory, you'll have -r after the command. So you'll have -r for directories. Right? So this will be the commands. So any doubts with permissions ownerships? Clear? Okay. So next we'll go with the file systems. Disk usage. Before that, this thing. How to check CPU utilization, memory utilization, process listing. These things we'll see, and then we'll go with file systems, how to list the size of file systems, how to solve the disk utilization alerts, and then we'll go with file compression. Okay, so these are the topics left for us. So next we'll go with CPU memory utilization and process listing. So before going to that, I will explain you one command called grep. Okay, so far we saw executing only single command, right? We execute a command, we'll get the output. Now what you can do is you can combine two commands together. So the output of the first command will be given as an input to the next command. Okay, that way it will go. One command we are going to see is grep. Grep means to do a simple find. Okay, for example, cat space ABC. What will be the output? The file will be opened, right? So here what I'm going to do, pipe symbol. This is the pipe symbol space. I'm gripping for ASDF. So what it will do in this output? So this output is given as an input to the next command called grep. Grep means search. So what this will do in this output? This is the output, right? In this output, it will search for the keyword ASDF and it will display all the lines having ASDF. Grep means a simple search. Wherever that ASDF is there, every line it will display for me. You can see. Right? So this is what grep will do. So I'm combining two commands. Same way here. If I give LSF and LRT, this is the output, right? Now I want to display with easy to user. So in this for LSF and LRT, this is the output. So in this output, whichever line is having the keyword easy to user, those lines alone it will display. So which means this particular line will not get displayed for me. See, in these two lines it is there, those alone it is displaying. So this is with grep. Okay, this one command you can understand. Now we'll come to CPU memory utilization and process listing. Okay, the first thing is process listing. Right, in Windows, you would have come across task manager, right? So what this task manager mainly it will contain all the applications along with the CPU memory utilization for each application, right? Basically, it will name it as processes, right? Whatever we open, everything is a process here. So how much memory CPU it is utilizing, everything it is displayed here, right? The same way in Unix also, every command we execute is a process. For example, if I type an ls-lrt, that is a process. It will get executed. So once the output is come, that process will complete. Okay. So now to list all the processes running in this machine. In background, there will be so many processes running, right? So to list, you give ps-ef. It will list all the processes. So as I said initially itself, each one will have a unique ID. So each process will have a unique process ID. Usually we don't refer with names and all. In Windows, we have the names, right? You have Firefox, Notepad, you have the names by which you refer. But in Unix, everything is with the process ID. Okay. So each process, the user owner of the process, owner as in with which ID the process is running. So that user ID it is displaying. This is basically a root process. As an application ID, if you start some process, maybe if you're starting Splunk with our Splunk ID, that ID will get displayed here. And this is a process ID of that process. And in case if it has any parent process ID it is showing. Okay. And the start time of the process, when the process was last started. and the description of the process, what that process is about. Okay, so this is what it will tell you. Now in real time, how we'll do is ps-ef, you mostly will combine with grep command. Grep, if I want to see any Java process running, I type Java. Nothing is there. Now, if I want to type, see if any Splunk process is running. For example, install Splunk and see if I want, see if it is running. I give like this. Okay. This is case sensitive. For example, here if you see, you have something called root and all running, right? But if I give it capital means nothing is displayed. It is case sensitive. To make it case insensitive, I give -i along with grep. So irrespective of the uppercase or lowercase, it will display for me. See, now it is displayed. Wherever root is there, everything is displayed for me. So with -i, it will make it case insensitive. Okay. In Unix, everything is case sensitive. Right. So PSP. So now we'll see memory utilization. Free-m. Okay, now coming to this part, all the options that we are going to see with the commands deals with the sizes. Okay, whether you want the output in MB, GB or KB, that is how the options will be. M means megabytes. So how much total memory is there, how much is used, how much is free, how much is in buffer, everything it is telling you. Similarly, K means in kilobytes, G means in gigabytes. Okay. This is the overall memory utilization, and SAR will tell you overall CPU utilization of the machine. So you can see overall how much is used, how much is idle. This Unix machine, it is telling you. Okay, this you can see in your normal Windows, right? Totally in control panel, you can see it there, right? How much memory RAM is there, how much CPU is used, everything you can see there, processor details. Now, if I want to have an output similar to this task manager, that is my main target, right? You will have an issue where it says CPU utilization is full or memory utilization is 90% or something. You will get an issue there. There, if you want to troubleshoot in Windows, what you'll do, you can just go to task manager and see, okay, if memory is full means, okay, this particular Firefox app is using more memory. So what I'll do, I'll go and give end task, or I will try to restart, or I'll troubleshoot. So for that, I have to find out which process is consuming more CPU or memory, right? So for that, I want an output similar to this task manager. So for that, here what we do is the command. It is a very important command which you will be using frequently. Top command, one mostly for troubleshooting. Okay, top command. So first you saw how to list the processes, you saw how to check the memory, you saw how to check the CPU. Now all three combined, process wise, CPU and memory, you can see. So here you can see this is what the CPU percentage is there, right? You saw with SAR output, right? How much used, how much idle. This one you saw with free command, how much used, how much idle. Now process wise, all the processes along with how much memory it is utilizing, how much CPU it is utilizing, it is showing for you. So here only you'll troubleshoot in case memory is high, memory is 90%. So now you can see which process is consuming more. Here it will display. So you can just click that particular process ID and you can grep and see in detail what process is that. Okay. So if it is our process, we have to troubleshoot. So this is how it will go. And if you give Q, it will come out. Okay. Top is a very important command to list the process by CPU and memory utilization. Okay. So ps-ef to list the processes, free to check the memory, SAR to check the CPU, and top for process by CPU and memory utilization. Okay, an important command. Next, coming to file systems. And you'll have another issue, right? Where in Windows you'll have like your C drive is full, D drive is full. So you'll have to see what and all file systems are there for that, right? How much percentage is there? So df command will list the file system size. -h means in megabytes, K in kilobytes, G in gigabytes. Okay, df-h. So this will list the file systems along with its size of the file systems it will display for you. Okay. In AWS, if you remember, you'll actually there will be this file system, right, where you'll be creating there. If you want, you can add your file systems also along with size if you give there. That is what it is displayed here. So it is 18% full now. So here only you'll have an issue where particular file system is 90% full or something. So there you have to go and troubleshoot there. So that is what next we are going to see, right? So df-h will basically list the size of the file systems. Next thing is how to troubleshoot when a file system is full. Okay, so there comes the disk storage. For example, see this slash root file system is full. Okay, so what do? I go inside that file system, I list and see. Earlier itself I said you have to ignore this file size. This is not in a readable format. So now in this thing I want to see which file or folder is consuming more size. So for that I want to see the file size, right? So disk usage command du hyphen, I want to see the size hyphen s. If I want in kilobytes, I give k, h in megabytes, g in gigabytes. Okay, k space file name abc. So this is a 4 KB file which is getting displayed. Okay. Now if I give asterisk, earlier itself I said right, star means everything. So for everything it is displaying the size. Okay. So here in general this is fine. Here manually I can find out which folder is consuming more. For example, if this directory is consuming more, again I can go inside this directory. Again I'll give this disk usage command. Again I will see which one is consuming more. Like this I'll recursively do to find out which files are consuming more size. Okay, either I can compress them or delete them if they are not required. That way we can do. Now, since these are three files, you can easily check manually. But if there are more than 100 files, and if you want to see which file is consuming more, there one thing you want to see is sort, right? You have to sort based on file size. So for that, what I'm going to do, this output, I'm going to give as an input to the next command called sort. Sort. Basically, sort what it will do, it will sort based on numbers. I mean names. Give me a second. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to sort. Now we have two outputs, right? First column is number, second column is alphabet. So sort means it will sort based on alphabets and give you. Now my goal is to sort based on the size. So I give n for size, and in reverse order so that the file with maximum size will be at the top for me, right? So this way it will sort and give. Okay. Now again, I can even customize this. This is not this. I'm just customizing for troubleshooting purpose. Okay, that is what I'm explaining. Each one is a different command. I'm combining everything, customizing it to troubleshoot. Now again, if there are more than 100 files, I want to just pick the top 10 files with more size. So what I'll do, this output again I'm giving as an input to the next command called head. Head means top 10. Earlier you saw tail, right? Last 10, head means top 10. So the top 10 will be displayed. Now if I give hyphen 20, or 30, top 30 will be displayed. Now I have only three is displayed. Okay, so in this way I can take the top n number of files with more size. This way I can troubleshoot it. Okay, so clear with files, systems and disk usage. So df-h to list the size of file systems, and disk usage command to see the file size. Okay, so any doubts with this? And then you can go with the last topic. Any doubts so far? Assuming no doubts, going for the last topic, file compression. So file compression can be with the in many methods, as in the level of compression differs. Okay, the first thing is zip. You can compress a file with zip. Then next level of compression is gzip, higher level of compression. Okay, the next higher level of compression is tar. You can tar the file. Tar as in compress the file. Okay, this is for compression. For extracting, same thing. Unzip, g unzip, and we call it as untar, but there is a different command. Okay, this is to extract. Okay, now as you have already seen, the file says I have only 4 KB file, cannot compress much. So I'll just explain you zip the output file how I want. I want the compressed file as abc.zip. Okay, I want this output file. And which one I want to compress, I can give. There are so many files, I can give all the files here. Okay, whatever I want, I can give the list of files. I want to compress one thing. Now listen, see, you have a zip package. This one basically contains only one file. If I have n number of files, everything I can list here, everything will be compressed and put inside this zip package. Okay, now I'll remove this ABC file. Okay, now we'll see how to unzip. Okay, now this is what there. Now I'll unzip. So inside the zip package, what we have one file called ABC. Okay, so unzip this one. We can see it extracted and I got the file. Okay, so zip output file, output.zip space files to compress. It will be a single file or multiple files. Okay, the same command will apply for gzip as well. Gzip, and it will be output.gz. The extension only differs. Okay, zip gz and the files. Unzip file name dot zip. Here it will be g unzip file name dot gz, the gzipped file. Okay, so this is how it will be. These two are simple, zip and unzip. Unzip. The next important thing here is the next highest level of compression is tar. Mostly all the packages that you're going to install, in DevOps itself, if you see, you'll have some maybe Jenkins package, I guess. So everything will be in tar format. All the binaries they will have in tar format. They'll compress in tar. So what you'll do, you'll copy the tar package and untar it, and then extract it, and then you will install your application. Okay, we'll see how to do that. So for that, what I'll do, inside directory one, basically it is empty. So what I'll do, I'll create multiple files there. Okay, touch file one, touch file two, mkdir sub dir one. Okay, so this is what I have inside this directory one folder. Okay, I'll come out. So this directory one, I'm going to tar, which means everything inside this will be tar compressed. So tar hyphen cvf. C is what mainly important to compress. Okay, space the output package how I want. I will make it like compress.tar. This is the output file I want. What I want to compress, this one. Okay, now listen, see, I have this tar package. Okay, Syntax goes like this: star hyphen CVF. C is to compress, and output is out how the output file I want, the tar package space, what and all I want to compress. I'm going to give here. Okay. So basically this one will contain this folder and everything inside this. Okay. Now I will delete this folder. Okay. Now clear with tar, right? Now this is what is there. Now I will untar it, which means I'm extracting it. So tar hyphen xvf. There C, here X. That is the only difference. And which one I want to untar. Just list extract everything and give you. See, it got extracted, which means I have untarred. Okay. So this is with tar and untar. Tar hyphen CVF, tar hyphen XVF. You have again so many options you have with tar. If it's a gzipped file, if you want to tar, you can combine actually. If you want even more level of compression, no, you can actually tar a gzipped file. That also you can do. Or a tar file you can gzip. That way you can take. It will be like file name dot tar dot gzip. That is how the extension will be. It will do 2 level of compression. Okay. So that's it with the compressions, zip, gzip, and tar. Any doubts with the this? That's it. We have come to the end of the session. Any doubts with the last 3 topics? What we saw, all these topics? Please ask me now. Meanwhile, I'll take the
So,
attendance. Yes. Yes, sir.
so you gave a file name while doing a zipping. Okay. So if I want to compress n number of files, so what
Space.
I will
You can give space.
a space and file name or just space?
So basically, it will be like 1 second. So here we'll be giving like this. So file 1 space file 2, how much ever you want. So all these files will be compressed and put in this zip file.
No, so my question was I have n number of file in this folder. So what I have to do in this case? Can I give it like a 5 file that I did before while doing a delete? This kind of case something here?
Like a
Sorry,
wildcard.
I didn't get you, Gaurav. Can you repeat again?
Now, if it is 100 files, I think he's asking if you can give wildcard.
Yes, Ramesh.
If you want to compress, is it right?
So
You
we
can
can't
compress
give
the
it like a
folder
file one,
itself,
file
right?
two.
Yeah, you can give the entire folder you can compress. Instead of giving all the file names, the folder itself will be compressed. That way you can do.
Okay.
Okay, can we give 5 star?
Yeah, asterisks will actually work here, but here if you want to compress everything inside that folder, you can give the folder and compress. That's what I did with tar,
Okay.
right? With tar, if you see, that is what I did. The entire directory I compressed.
If the files are in different locations, how it will be okay?
That you have to um, go to that particular path and then only compress.
No, my question is like if the files are in different locations, so can I give the file name itself? Only the file name? That is the different file names.
No,
Will it
basically a
compress?
simple concept is in Windows itself. If you want to compress, everything will be in the same path only, right? So there you will select everything and then you will push it to a compressed folder. So everything should
Okay.
be in the same path. Then only you can compress. Cannot compress file one from one path and file two from different path.
Yeah, okay.
Everything, yeah,
Yeah, okay. So we cannot compress the files from the different file. Is it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. That's thank you.
Is there an undo command or something for whatever actions we take? Everything is like committed, or can we do an undo?
For all the commands that we execute, right?
Yes.
Yeah, everything is committed only. You cannot undo them.
Okay.
Yeah, I've taken the attendance as well. So any other doubts?
Who will share us this record and file? Because I have only Arvind number with me.
Okay, I'll ask
No.
Arvind to share it with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you save this notepad and send it in that same chat?
Actually, there'll be a better one. So, okay, this
Which
one.
you have done also, you can send it.
Yeah. So it will be the same only. The same thing
Yeah.
I would have typed. I'll send this one to you.
Okay, fine.
So will there
Any other
be
doubts?
multiple sessions on Unix, or is it the only session?
No,
we'll
this
be
is the
getting
only
trained?
session because
Okay.
this is only about basics, right? So only one session will be there. We're not going in depth or admin part of Linux and all. Just basics, how to handle Unix servers. So only these things will be there. One session.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to add a file here. If anyone can help me, it would be good.
Yeah, if you open the chat box, you can see the file option and you can attach that file from your computer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Done. Any more doubts?
Please make sure that you have sent it to everyone, not to the particular
Yeah.
post.
Yeah, it's to everyone I have sent.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
we'll also text Arvind as well to send it to you people.
Yes, we receive.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. It
Yeah.
is very clear
Thank
and
you.
helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Suchitra.
Yeah.